for the rest of this Parliament, which means we're not going to have to come back for more.
Translated into actual English, what she meant this time last year was, I've whacked up taxes already and I'm not going to need to do it again. But extraordinarily, she gave a press conference at 8:10 this morning, and this is what she said.
If we are to build the future of Britain together, we will all...
Rachel Reeves has just done something that even seasoned Westminster insiders are calling extraordinary. Depending on how you see it, it's either an act of iron defiance or breathtaking arrogance. During an interview with Andrew Marr on LBC, the Chancellor was asked the one question everyone was waiting for. Will you resign if you raise taxes in the November 26th budget? Her answer, a flat, unapologetic no. No hesitation, no political hedging, no nervous smile. She's staying, come hell or high water, and apparently, we should be thankful for her stability. Before we unpack this piece of political theatre, make sure you subscribe to British Connors, where we cut through the spin and show you what's really going on inside Westminster. Because what's unfolding right now could redefine political accountability in modern Britain. The Conservative Party has called, loudly and directly, for Reeves to quit if she breaks Labour's core manifesto promise and hikes taxes. Everyone knew this interview would be a defining moment. Would she blink? Would she dodge? Would she dress it up in soft political language? Not even close. Reeves charged ahead with what can only be described as either unshakable conviction or staggering defiance. She said she was appointed to turn the economy around and is determined to finish the job. Then came the kicker. And what do you think would happen in financial markets if I did that? Translation: if she resigned, the markets would collapse. So really, she's doing us all a favour by staying put. Even as she prepares to take more from taxpayers already at breaking point, the sheer audacity of that logic is something to behold. Here's the reality. This is the same Chancellor who, just yesterday, laid the groundwork for fresh tax rises. The same Chancellor who refused 4 times, in one day, to rule them out. The same Chancellor who imposed a £40 billion tax raid in her 2024 budget. And now, she's positioning herself as the responsible adult in the room, the woman too vital to be questioned, too important to step aside. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, hit that like button, because it's about to get even more interesting. Reeves spent much of the interview painting a picture of success, talking up Britain's economic strength. She boasted about lower bond yields, a record high FDSE, and claimed the UK economy was the fastest growing in the G7 during the first half of the year. But let's be honest, that's selective storytelling. What good are those numbers to families who can't pay their heating bills, to small business owners drowning under higher national insurance, to pensioners who've lost their winter fuel allowance? That's the gulf between Westminster statistics and real-world struggle. Chancellors can quote macroeconomic data all day long, but if ordinary Britons are forced to choose between heating and eating, those numbers mean nothing. And then came the part that said the most, not by what she said, but by what she didn't. When asked whether Labour would ever regain the public's trust after breaking its no tax rise pledge, Reeves dodged. She didn't say, yes, we'll rebuild trust. She didn't promise to keep her word. She pivoted, blaming the previous Tory government and talking about voter understanding. It was a masterclass in avoidance, and it revealed something crucial. The decision to raise taxes has already been made. Everything else, the interviews, the speeches, the sound bites, is just damage control dressed as communication. What this really shows is Labour's political calculation. They think breaking a promise is survivable. They believe outrage fades, memories are short, and by the time the next election rolls around, voters will have moved on. It's cynical, but calculated. And what makes it sting even more is the hypocrisy. 4 years, Labour hammered the Conservatives for dishonesty and broken promises. They sold themselves as the party that would restore trust, and yet, barely a year into government, they're doing exactly the same thing. Reeves' defence, that resigning would destabilise the markets, is especially manipulative. Yes, stability matters, but using it as a shield from accountability, that's political gaslighting. It's the too big to fail argument, the idea that she's simply too important to face consequences. She even promised this upcoming budget won't be as bad as last year's, as if that's reassurance. That's like saying, "Don't worry, I'll only hit you with a stick this time, not a plank. Lower pain isn't good policy. It's just smaller punishment." We're now 3 weeks away from budget day, and Reeves is in full defensive mode. Every interview, every talking point, is about softening the blow before the numbers drop. It's political pre-damage control, plain and simple. But here's the fundamental flaw in her thinking. She seems to believe that if she just explains her decisions clearly enough, people will accept higher taxes. That's not the issue. People understand hard choices. What they won't accept is being lied to before an election, and then told it was all necessary later. Labour's promise not to raise income tax, national insurance, or VAT wasn't fine print. It was front and centre of their campaign. And now, when pressed, the Chancellor can't even give a straight answer. That's not just political spin. It's a betrayal of democratic trust. If Reeves goes ahead with tax hikes on November 26th and refuses to resign, she set a dangerous precedent. That promises are optional. Accountability is negotiable, and voters just have to live with it. In the past, when chancellors broke trust or misjudged policy, resignation was at least considered honourable. But Reeves seems to believe she's above that accountability is for lesser politicians. Her framing, "I'm not walking away because the situation is difficult," makes her sound heroic. But the truth is, the difficulty comes from her own choices. These aren't acts of God, they're political decisions, made by a government, for which she now refuses to face consequences. And let's not ignore those 4 refusals to rule out tax hikes. Once might be caution, twice might be political discipline, 4 times, that's intent. She knows what's coming. She's just refusing to admit it, until it's too late to react. It's treating voters like children, too fragile to handle the truth until budget day. So here's the bottom line. Strip away the jargon and theatre, and this is what's left. Taxes are going up, promises are being broken, and the Chancellor has decided she's untouchable. That's not leadership, that's entitlement. The only question left is whether the British public will remember. Will they hold her to account, or will this be another scandal that fades into the noise of daily politics? We'll find out soon enough. Rachel Reeves isn't resigning, she's doubling down, betting that you'll forget by the next election. But on November 26th, we'll see just how far she's willing to push that gamble. Stay tuned to News Core UK+, because when that budget drops, we'll break every number, every line, and every broken promise wide open. No spin, no filters, just the truth.